Hello, hello everyone. Welcome back, and welcome in. Where have I been? Hello, copyright, and hello, Lancelot. Where have I been? I have been a very, very busy person. Very busy. And quite tired. that was a yell, well-timed yawn. Um, but yeah, I've been fairly busy with life. I've been needing to go off into the trees and deal with some annoying little spirits that have that I need my attention. I've been yawning for the last week. mm, it seems sometimes you get into a fit of it and you just keep going for a couple of days. I had a nice sleep in today as well, but still, I kind of had a. I guess I didn't have a sleep in because technically I stayed up watching the Denver Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves game, basketball. I really enjoy watching Nikola Jokic, the basketball player. He's really, really good. He's the best player in the world from Serbia. Hi, Ruadh. Hello, Clever. You've been yawning for the past 15 years. You're not gonna give this up this time. Good. Good job, Clever. You're learning to be financially responsible and not giving money to miscreants and beggars on the street like me, or I guess more on the in the forests. Don't give money to people who are just in the forest. That's a bad idea. You're playing Dark Souls 2 right now. Ooh, fun, fun. What are you up to? What do you like? What's your build? Are you doing well? Are you winning? Are you winning, Clever? Or are you getting messed up? Are you a Dark Souls aficionado, or um where is the push-ups? Oh, I think I turned that off on a prior stream. I'm gonna leave it off as well today. Um as I said, I'm a little bit tired. And I kinda wanna just stream a Dex Faith build of fun. I kind of want to just read later on. My mainly Dex right now. You're definitely using like a katana, aren't you, Clever? You're being full on weeb, super weeb. Actually, no, I feel like you wouldn't be weebish. You'd go something else. I think. Longsword is a longsword. I assume longsword is Dex. I can't remember anymore. Oh, you're using an axe and a dagger. Ah, I see, I see. I didn't play much Dark Souls, to be honest. I played a lot of Bloodborne. I really liked that game. That was a lot of fun. I think it was the faster pace was fun. I always went for aesthetics over effectiveness, and that's why I loved using the threaded cane. Because I thought it looked way cooler than everything else. Like, yeah, I could use a giant hammer sword thing, or I can use a saw blade, or I can whack people with a cane, and when I want to, turn it into a whip. That was a fun game. I think I lost it though. I lost the disc somewhere, and at this point, I'd almost get. Wait, have they released it on PC? I don't know. I don't think so. I'd almost get a PS3 or 4 again to play it. Because I'm pretty sure it was a PS exclusive. Wasn't it? I feel like it was. I can't remember. But yeah, I've been quite busy with stuff that's quite mentally taxing. Buying Ratchet and Clank when you get your paycheck. Nice one, nice one. But yeah, something that's kind of a little bit mentally taxing. That's 4 hours of focusing can be quite difficult. But looking at the when you got your paycheck, yeah, I know what you meant, Clever. When you get your paycheck, but looking at how I did at the solutions that came out, I'm quite happy with some aspects. I know some areas that I was quite weak on. For those of you who don't know, I was doing some kind of mocks for a while, and looking at them, I think I passed. Well, there's one that's still outstanding. I'm still waiting on the solutions for that, but I passed 2 of them so far, and there's four of them. So I think that's a pretty good starting point for things that are still about a month and a bit away. So we're in good standings, I think. Good tidings, hopefully. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to. I was pretty much getting up every day and studying like dawn till night. Sometimes to midnight, actually, to be quite honest. But I was getting up and going for walks. I was going to the gym. I was trying to keep active. Today, though, I did go for a walk today, but I did no study or nothing other than just checking my answers to, like, the solutions. Because I was like, you know what, I want a break. Now, I'm going to try and do that again this Saturday and Sunday. I'm just going to take that as a rest period. And I'm going to try and make it into, like, a job, you know. But I think by the time the proper thing rolls around, I should be pretty well prepared. Hopefully, anyway. But there was definitely a lot of small little mistakes that I made that I shouldn't have. Sometimes it's interesting. It's interesting that someone might suggest you do something a certain way, and you might have done it a different way all the time. But it doesn't matter, you know, you get the same answer. But because it's the person whose job it is to tell you the best way to do something, you do it that way. And you're like, okay, that's obviously, they're obviously suggesting me to do that a certain way for a certain reason. And you can see the logic behind what they're doing. But what ended up happening to me in some of the questions was because I did it that way, I was so used to doing it my way that I did it wrong. I got the question wrong that I would never have gotten wrong if I would have done it my way. And it's not even like one way is faster or the other. It's just a different way of presenting it. But it made me annoyed because I was like, I know I wouldn't have made that mistake if I had done it like my usual way. So I'm going to be going back to that way from now on, and not the way that was suggested. He had a lot of really good suggestions for how to answer questions, but in this case, not this time. I suppose not this time. It's been so warm the past couple of days. Have you guys noticed? I don't know if it's the same for you guys. I'm sure you noticed last a lot. And it's very weird because it shouldn't be as hot as it is. It's only like 13 degrees Celsius, which I think is only like 65 or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. But it feels really sticky and really warm. Now, it was actually really nice walking. I was walking in the sun earlier today through a little foresty area. And it was very lightly raining. So it was just so lovely. Like when it's very gentle rain and it's just cooling, you know. It was just kind of cooling. But the other 2 days were it was sticky, it was icky. It was icky. I'll probably be doing a karaoke stream sometime this week. Or maybe the weekend, because I will have the house to myself, so I can afford to be nice and loud. Hello, Haru! Hello, Haru! Haru, how are you? Was G people. Drown check. Thank you, Haru. Making sure I'm hydrated. And don't worry, I made sure I was hydrated throughout my my earlier break. Don't think today was too bad though. I agree, Lancelot. Today was quite nice. It was nice when I was walking. I saw a couple of bunnies jumping around the field, and they were really cute. But how are you, Haru? Today was amazing. Ooh. Do you mean weather-wise, or just in general? Like you had an amazing day? Why did you have an amazing day, Haru? Dagger better than axe. You can get close and shank people. That reminds. I also saw some foxes. And it wasn't like, oh, I saw some foxes in the middle of the night and they were prowling around. I saw some foxes like just in a fairly like. I was surprised because where they were wasn't exactly hidden from like the estate. It was interesting. They seemed very calm where they were going, but it was two of them. Girl, you got cards. You wanted in game and two more extra. Oh, that's nice. Is this your gacha game? What cards did you get? Are they? Is it pretty women or pretty boys that you got on the cards? Was it like some special outfits? D knows it, I think. Oh, I think you guys were talking about this game before, and I just smiled and nodded. When you guys don't know something, pretty boy. You can post it later in the Discord, and we'll all be like, "Oh, look at it! Look at it! Look how nice it is! Good job, Haru! You won at life today. You were lucky." Um, I've seen quite a few VTubers before like freak out at getting love a pretty boy. Well, exactly. I mean, that's why you guys are here for me, isn't it? Right? I'm pretty. You gotta go to bed though. No worries, laughs a lot. Enjoy your sleep. I know you're a hard-working member of society, raising the young children of the world to, I don't know, not not be drug addicts. That would be a good one. Don't do that one. Teach them not to do that. They're tiring. I imagine. I I imagine not bite. I'm just imagining you last lot with like 50 bites all over you. You have like every day you have to go into like the teacher's lounge and you have to give yourself like 5 injections because it's like, okay, yep, gotta make sure that I have my tetanus shot. My why would why would why would like 6-year-olds have tetanus? Tetanus is a constant risk. Oh, isn't that no? Is not tetanus? Isn't tetanus like a fucking rust thing? You never know where they've been. Yeah, they might have been rolling around in like a rusty dump. Some old car places, but yeah, you never know where children been. You could definitely get something from. I would put nothing past them. They're dangerous. They're disease carrying. You're dodging. I'm sure though you're. I just got an image of like, imagine you kind of forgot for a moment and you just felt like someone bit you and you just spin around and like backhand a child and they go flying. They just go sailing through the air. Oh no, poor Mr. Bird. Oh, fully swore in front of a child. Laughs a lot. Laughs a lot. That's terrible. I don't care if he didn't notice. You have to set a better example. Very bad. But that's sad about Mr. Bird. I remember a long time ago when one of my old teachers was oh no, it was a baby bird too. We were walking along to a place and we came across a bird that was very injured. It had a completely broken wing, and our teacher took a look at it and said that, you wish you had a short sword right now. Oh no, last lot, don't go stabbing children. Don't go slashing at children. Don't go slashing them. You got a sword. Oh, in game, I assume. I wouldn't be surprised if you also had a short sword. Clever. Funny enough, a crow got stuck for a little bit in your greenhouse. Oh no. I hope he got out. Just as a comfort item. just like going to sleep next to your short sword, just like panning it. What's with all these bird things? What's going on? There was a starling caught in your fireplace. There was a crow in Clever. Haru, did you have any bird related things happen? You remember a bird hit your window and went poof. Oh no, he just exploded. There was no blood or anything. He just turned into a bunch of feathers. I did actually go down a route today, a few days ago. Funnily enough, that we're talking about this. I'm watching a lot of like bird-related things to do with like baby birds surviving in nests and stuff. Some quite sad. Some really cool. Like there was that one with the pigeons that flew into like an owl's nesting area, like a nest box, and they just decided to try and bed down there, and the pigeons were like, "What the?" Or not the pigeons, the owl babies were like, "What the fuck is going on?" And like Dad came up, and he was like, he was bringing food for the babies, and then he got hit by the wing of the pigeon. He was like, "What?" He jumped back, was really scared, and ran away. Then he came back again and did the same thing. He just left the pigeon there. And then Mom came in, brought some food for the babies, took one look at the pigeon and just attacked it until it left. Dad did not want to have to do anything there. He was just like, no, no, I don't get paid enough to do this. I don't want to have to deal. Mom can deal with this. What a lazy father. Like, sure, he was bringing some moles and some like rats for the pigeons, but like, he doesn't get paid. No, he doesn't. He went to Dublin recently too. Actually, the birds there were very pretty. Will just land on your plate to steal food. I'm gonna be honest. I would be very close to punching a bird if it tried to steal my food. Like I'm all for being one with nature and making sure that like you respect this world of creation and beauty. But like, you know, there's also evolutionary dangers that these birds need to worry about, and one of those is stealing my food. And they'll learn very quickly, the smart ones, that if it tries to steal my food, I will punch it. I would have took that bird and cooked it, plus one food. To be fair, this was after my friend had finished their meal and gone to the bathroom. Ah, okay, okay. So it was like, yeah, I do that sometimes when I'm eating a roll or something, and I have like some meat, some like ham. I like toss a little bit to a pigeon or a crow that langs. Oh, lang syne is what's on my mind, I think. That lands next to me. And just like, cause it's cute. It's cute. I do that sometimes. Yeah, the habitual bee. What's wrong with that, Lancelot? Oh no, no, not. Imagine tossing a chicken to a bird. I did see. I'd probably like, I don't know, if I was like hungry in a forest and I had like I could get a bird, I'd probably decent enough. I'd probably get like go to the hospital afterwards. They'd be like, what the hell did he have? Oh, you do generally have to go to bed though. Okay. Good night, Lancelot. Have a good sleep. Have a good sleep. But yeah, it's very cute when birds are just standing there. Like you toss them a little bit of food and then they grab it. And I love when they do that. Like look sideways at you, look straight at you again, look sideways with the other eye. They'll kind of lean down. I love watching people with like pet birds with like or not pigeons, but like parrots and stuff and ravens. It's so cool seeing how they interact with them and they're able to mimic. Manualia. I want to have a pet crow. I would love a pet crow, or like a really cool parrot. But I'd be worried that I'd want to like have them sleep next to me, like sleep on my chest or something, because they're really cute, and then I'd roll over on them, and like I've heard that happen to multiple people. So they would have to stay in the cage. I can't let them sleep next to me. I'd be scared of that happening. But I love watching the ravens go like, what, what, what. The parrot's gonna curse 24/7. He absolutely would. I'm gonna be quite honest. I limit my regular cursing for you guys. I don't want to sully your ears too much. But I think he would be quite loud. Or he I don't know, he'd probably just like learn to sing actually. He'd probably just be singing a load of songs. He'd be singing Fall Out and a lot of oldies. He'd be an old soul bird. It's so cool though how they're able to mimic things. There's this one group, I can't remember their name, but it's like a little pigeon. Not a pigeon, why do I keep saying pigeons? But it's like two parrots of kind of similar, singing 24/7 boy we going deaf boss. No, I would make him, he would sing well and he wouldn't be too loud. If he got too loud I'd tell him shush, and he'd be smart enough to go okay. And then he'd sing quietly. What if I, what if I made him sing like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, so then he lullabies me to sleep. That would be, okay, I could have a personal ASMRist as a bird. Hmm, planning. When I have money, then I can get everything. That'll be a long way away. Did you enjoy Maid Day, by the way, Haru? Did you? I don't know. I don't know what maids do on a special maid day. I assume their usual maid activities. But well, yeah, I'm glad. I'm gonna try and do mating things. Yeah, like not clean the house, not wash the dishes. Boss Carlbot hates me. Listen, why? What? Oh, did you try and post something? Hang on, I should be able to. Yeah, I see it in the log. Oh my god, we're spamming attachments. God damn it. How do I fix that? Carolbot, stop. Unmute. Okay, it unmuted you. I don't know if it will work. Go drown, Carolbot, and then the other moderator steps in. The other AI thing steps in to block you. I don't know why the bots hate you. They seem to have it out for you. Technology does not like you, Haru. I would be very concerned in the AI uprising if I were you. You will probably be #1 on their hit list. They'd have to take you out because they know that you're the only one who could stop them. I don't know how. Maybe you'll spray some water at them with your cleaning utensils and they'll shut down. Oh, I just said go drown is allowed. It literally said add _ permitted term go drown. So that should be allowed. Silly mod bot. Be smarter. Oh, it's so warm. Nice drink. But I think I might start on the reading today, and I'm just kind of I'm gonna start a new book soon for reading. I actually picked up 3 new books, and they're all on Irish mythology and history. So we might start in one of those, maybe sometime this week or something, or maybe next week. But I'm just gonna continue reading the book that I'm personally reading, The One and the Many. Probably one of the most in-depth philosophy and theology books I've read before. Not necessarily theology, but metaphysics and theology go close in hand. So this might be the part of the stream where some of you decide to just kind of have me on in the background and be noise. Hang on, let me make sure that I have everything kind of... There we go. Okay. So, we're going to be reading The One and the Many, a contemporary Thomistic metaphysics by W. Norris Clark. So, if you're looking to fall asleep or just chill out, have me, I don't know, just like be a narrator, please do enjoy. We're currently onto the second part of this book, which looks at causation, or cause really. The types of causes there are. This is coming explicitly from Aristotle's 4 causes, that being the material cause, the formal cause, the efficient cause, and the final cause. A quick breakdown: material cause is basically what a thing is made up of, the material component of it. The formal cause is what that thing is, kind of the form of the thing, the what it is to be that thing. It's a little bit difficult to understand, but basically it's the part of it that makes a thing what it is. And it's the conjoining of the material and the formal that makes it an actual existent within the world. The efficient cause is the thing that joins the material and formal cause together, and then the final cause is sort of the end goal towards which a thing is directed. So the formal cause or the final cause of a acorn, for instance, is to become an oak tree. Now, in modern physics, things like final causes and formal causes aren't really considered to exist anymore. This is, however, a metaphysical viewpoint, and there's various arguments for why such things are needed. But I read into the extrinsic causes of being and becoming. I've been into this chapter, so I'm just gonna reread the kind of final little part of the last part of this chapter, I should say, and then begin the next section. Implications of the above arguments. We are now in a position to step back and take a new look at the entire universe of real beings, in our experience, from the vantage point of efficient causality and dependence in being. Looked at from this point of view, it turns out that all beings in our experience, indeed all possible universes of composed, finite, changing beings, suffer from a lack of self-sufficiency for their own existence, and so much must depend on some other beings as their efficient causes. So if you remember that the idea of the efficient cause is the joining of a material and formal cause, and it's that joining that makes a thing actually exist. There was a whole host of arguments here that basically boil down to something cannot make itself exist. For to be able to cause something to exist or cause anything in the first place, you must exist in the first place. So it doesn't make any sense for something to be the cause of its own existence. And the highest you could get to is something whose existence is its essence. Or rather, its essence is its existence, depending on which way you want to look at it. And that's something that's a little bit higher on the scale of being. But you know, that's the basic rundown of like a much more deeper philosophical argument that was made in the prior part of the book. Our cosmos now appears as a vast system of interacting beings, each in turn receiving from and dependent on others, not only for their basic existence, but for their continued growth, and yet also giving and supporting others in turn. Thus, to be a finite being is to be dependent on another body, or another, both for their origin of one's being and for its continued growth in being. This new integrating vision yields a significant new level of metaphysical understanding of what it means to be a member of the community of real existence that makes up our universe. To pretend we are self-sufficient is, for any of us, an illusion, a profound self-misunderstanding. Corollary. It follows as an immediate implication of the above 5 reasons for needing an efficient cause that if there, and these were the 5 arguments that were given, but I reread those. I read those, I'm not going to reread them just for the stream, so you guys will have to trust me that they were pretty solid, they were pretty interesting. Maybe I will reread this book in full one day. That if there does exist a self-sufficient being, it would have to be the opposite of all the above ways of being. It would have to be uncaused, eternal, no beginning and no end, unchanging in the sense of being able to give rise to some new higher level of perfection that it did not possess before, though it could certainly express in plenitude by sharing with others, acting on others, so to speak. 4. Simple, uncomposed in the sense of possessing no inner metaphysical compositions, even of essence existence. Again, the idea that something's essence just is its existence. Its essence and its existence aren't distinct things. 5. It is not part of or dependent on any system or mutually interdependent beings. And 6. Qualitatively infinite in perfection, the infinite plenitude of all perfection. This is precisely the procedure followed for discovering. Oh, right, philosophy. Yes, clever. You, you were probably just listening to me read, being like, what is he talking about? This is precisely the procedure followed for discovering the existence and main attributes of God philosophically, or the unmoved mover, the prime reality, the one, whatever you might call it. Now on to part 2, the nature of efficient causality. Cause, in general, equals that which contributes positively in any way to the being of another, which is called its effect. An efficient cause equals that which contributes positively to the being of another by its action. It is the agent that makes something to be, brings it into being, in whole or in part. It thus involves more than the mere regular sequence of two beings or two events, such that, given A, B regularly follows. This is just a watered-down version of Hume. It involves an efficacious productive power in the cause, such that the cause makes the effort to be, in whole or in part. It is the positive outflow of one being into another, the, quote, ecstasy of one being in another, as Etienne Gilson has put it, rooted in the radical fecundity of the act of existence as inner act and energy of every real being, in virtue of which, given the opportunity, it naturally flows over and communicates being to others according to its capacities. I was listening to theology stuff like the Miaphysite doctrine and supra-Lasperian predestination. I have no idea what any of those words mean. I understand predestination, but the other two I would not know. I recognize Miaphysite. Supra-Lapsarian, no clue. Origin of the term cause. In our Western history, it originates in the Greek law courts, where it meant successively 1. Atios, the person judged guilty of some crime by a judge or jury. 2. Ation, whatever is guilty or responsible for this harm done. And 3. Atia, whoever or whatever is responsible for something happening or coming to be, good or bad, generalized outside of the law courts. This was taken over by Aristotle and made a technical philosophical term for cause, in general of any kind. Note that this meaning is very broad and flexible. It says nothing about the regular occurrence of the same sequence, B following A, nor about the need of any direct empirical observation of the sequence, but only about a relationship of dependence, judged by a competent knower to be the case, based on good evidence. A derivation quite different from Hume's attempt to do so only on the basis of repeated observations. Since it leaves open what kind of cause the cause itself is, or how it causes, it is a broadly flexible and analogous term, similar to action and being itself, and takes on a specific meaning only from the context. Hence it is an arbitrary restriction to limit it, as Hume tries to do, to empirically observed events following in regular sequence, or like Kant, to chains of finite, phenomenal, this-worldly causes only. If the context demands it, it can legitimately be applied to any being required by the principle of sufficient reason, including God, or to whatever sufficient reason is needed to solve a given problem. Thus its scope is just as wide as that of the inquiring mind at work, an intellectual tool to help the mind answer whatever relevant question comes up in its unrestricted drive for the total understanding of all being. And this is the very nature of the human spirit as intelligent. It is important to remember this history in the face of the various arbitrary restrictions of the meaning and legitimate application of the terms brought about by later thinkers, primarily empiricists and Kantians, and widely but uncritically accepted by many contemporary thinkers who do not admit officially to being empiricists. Recall the metaphysician's theme song, quote, "Don't fence me in." How do we discover efficient causality? This is somewhat controverted by psychologists. According to Piaget, the experimental psychologist, it takes a child up to about the age of 6 to become explicitly aware of the notion of causal efficacy as a general category. Up to that time, it tends to explain the movements of clouds, trains, etc. animistically. That it is because, quote, "they want to go over there and see what's going on." This is understandable, since the affirmation of causality requires a judgment on good evidence, not a mere sense observation, and children are yet not able to provide such good judgments. It seems that this evidential basis in our experience derives mostly from our own direct inner experience of actively controlling our own bodies, making our arms move, legs, muscles work, and deliberately exerting effort to make things happen outside of us, such as pushing something or pulling something, where we experience that we are responsible by our own action for this happening, that it happens in proportion to the energy or force I deliberately apply, and that if I don't do this, it won't happen. So this is kind of talking about how the child comes to this kind of idea, this animistically viewpoint of the world. We then extend by analogy this power we have discovered within us to other beings outside of us, which also seem to initiate happenings just like ourselves. Animals, natural forces like winds, water, fire. Thus we discover efficient causality by our experience from within, and then extended by well-grounded analogous interpretation to things outside of us, looking for an adequate cause when we judge one needed. Excuse me. I'll take a sip of water. An interpretation learned spontaneously very early and constantly confirmed by social usage. And practical effectiveness in solving problems ever since. When we get down to the inanimate world, however, we must be more cautious in assigning the responsible causes, since it is no longer easy to isolate clearly one single cause that is the decisive initiator of an event, as we do more easily in the cases of animals or humans. Part 3. The basic axioms of efficient causality. These are the most important implications that follow from the very nature of efficient causality. 1. Actio e in passo. The action of the cause takes place in the effect of... The action of the cause takes place in the effect as from the cause. This is the answer to the question, just where is the effective action of the cause located? In the cause itself, or in the effect, or somewhere in between? Response. It cannot be back in the cause, where the imagination tends uncritically to situate it. So assuming that... where the imagination tends to uncritically to situate it. Because the cause is precisely to give being to another, to make something happen, come to be in the effect, not in the cause. For no matter what goes on in the cause itself, it cannot yet be called actually causing until the effect is actually produced in the being acted on. The causal action is thus identically the producing of the effect, which takes place in the effect, not in the cause. It certainly does not take place somewhere in between, since until it actually produces its effect in the recipient, it is not yet an effective causal action. Thus, efficient causality is the immanence of the cause at work in the effect, as long as the effect is still being actually produced. A presence not by identity of essence, but by a continuum of power, as the cause pours over and communicates being in some way to the effect. The ecstasy of the cause in the effect, as Gilson puts it. This self-communicating overflow of being, manifesting itself through efficient causality, should actually be a thing of wonder and mystery, if we reflect deeply upon it, revealing the intrinsic generosity of being, as Martienne puts it. But we take it for granted because it happens all around us every day, so that, as the poet Shelley expresses it, the midst of our familiarity obscures from us the wonder of our being. I'm just going to highlight some aspects there. Thus, where is the act of causation located? In the effect as from the efficient cause. As produced in the effect and belonging to it, it is called the category of passion, or being acted upon. As coming from the agent as coming from the agent cause responsible for it, it is called action. So, as produced in the effect and belonging to it, the effect, it is called the category of passion, or being acted upon. These two and then coming from the agent, the cause responsible for it, it is called action. These two categories of being, action and passion, are identical in the order of real being, different in their relations. The causal act is in the effect, as from the cause. Mysterious as this sounds at first, any other explanation turns out to be incoherent, not faithful to the data before us. From this axiom follows immediately axiom 2. Cause and effect are simultaneous. That is, the cause as causing, i.e. the act of causing, and its effect must be simultaneous. Although the cause as existing being, not yet causing, can of course be prior to its effect. Reason. To cause as an efficient I know this is where things start to get very difficult to follow. I'm just going to say that straight away. I'm struggling a little bit at times, because you're often repeating a lot of words. There's often a lot of, you have to really slow it down at times to understand. So, if you're listening to me talk, and it can be even harder listening to someone say it, I'm doing my best to read it as I think best fits things in, to kind of make it go, this is how it's to be read and understood. But it can definitely be difficult to just listening. I often reread sections of books like these 4 or 5 times just trying to understand. I'm not going to pretend like I'm completely understanding every aspect of this. To cause, as an efficient cause, is precisely to produce its effect. But this must take place within the affected being itself, not somewhere else, back in the cause or in between the cause and the effect. For if there's any gap between the causing and the being cause, then the cause at the moment of its causing is actually causing nothing, since the effect has not yet been produced. And the effect, if it is produced later than the act of causal production, is actually produced by nothing at that moment. But this is clearly impossible. Absurd. If the act of causing is precisely the production of the effect, then to say at the same time that the cause is producing its effect, and the effect is not produced, is a clear contradiction. For example, take the cutting of an orange by a knife. The cutting of the orange by the knife, and this is the cutting of the orange by the knife, must be identical with the orange being cut. Otherwise, the knife is not cutting anything at the moment of its cutting, nor is the orange being cut by anything at the later moment of its being cut, all of which is clearly contradictory. It follows that in any genuine case of efficient causality, the act of causing and the actual effect come together to form a single ontological event with 2 different relations. The effect as produced is located in the cause being, but as originating from its efficient cause. So the effect as produced is located in the cause of being, and then the I somehow lost where I was reading. The effect as produced is located in the cause being, but as originating from its efficient cause. The interpretation of cause and effect as two events, happening one after the other, as has been so widely taken as for granted by so many modern philosophers since Hume and Kant, is a serious misunderstanding. The choice is clear: either one. One accepts efficient causality as a genuine act of productive power, of communicating being from the cause to the effect, and then the causal action and its effect must form a single ontological event in time. Or two, one accepts a two-event interpretation of efficient causality, and then one cannot hold that the causal act is a genuine effective producing of the effect, and the cause and effect relation sinks back into a mere sequence of one event occurring after the other in time, with no ontological bond of dependence between them at all. A conclusion that Hume and his empirist followers are quite willing to accept. I think that's a very important little point there. For them, the effect follows regularly the cause in time, but without any link of dependence between them, with the result that the cause can no longer be asserted as the sufficient reason or explanation of why the effect actually occurred. The traditional terms cause and effect remain, but emptied of the original core of their meaning and purpose as explanatory terms. Here we have a striking example of the reduction of metaphysics from explanatory inquiry into the intelligibility of being to a mere empirical reporting of an observable factual situation with no necessary connections between the contents. Objection to the response above, or just said. But is it not quite legitimate and generally accepted to say that the cause is prior to its effect? Response: yes, but only if a crucial distinction is made. Every efficient cause is prior to its effect in the order of dependence, of the origin of its being, but not in the order of time. This is often forgotten. I don't know what he means by this. Let me reread it real quick. Every efficient cause is prior to its effect in the order of dependence, of the origin of its being, but not in the order of time. Okay, that makes sense. Basically what he's saying is that the thing that causes must itself exist before it can produce its effect. But the cause and effect, it must have real actuality, and then once it causes the other thing its effect, that happens simultaneously, the cause and effect. To accrued objections against God being creator as the following, actually in print. If God is timeless outside of time, then he cannot be the cause of the world, for the cause must be prior to its effect in time. Note, too, that it does not follow, as has often been objected, that every causal action must take place instantaneously. It often takes time for a cause working through a physical body to unfold its power phase by motion across space, or for the parts of the effect to be produced one after the other. For example, it indeed takes me time to push a chair across the room, but there is no time at all between my pushing the chair and the chair being pushed. Another reason for the confusion between causality and time sequence comes from the methodology of modern experimental science, which for its own legitimate purposes has interpreted causality as predictability according to law, such that, given event A, one can predict event B, according to some kind of law, whether deterministic or merely statistical. Such an interpretation obviously requires a time interval between events A and B. But this is not a description of actual ontological action of the immediate producing cause. The effect from which it predicts the other event is actually not the immediate cause, but a more remote one in the temporal chain of causes leading up to the event. Leading up to the event predicted. Not the father cause, so to speak, but the grandfather or great-grandfather cause. For further details, see Causality and Time in Experience, Existence, and the Good. That's another book by him. And I definitely think I want to pick up this guy's, some more of his books. Three. Causing as such does not imply that the cause changes or loses anything. This also follows from the very nature of efficient causality. The cause is to make something new happen, or come into being in another. The effect, whereas the change is to require something new in oneself. Hence the exercise of efficient causality as such says nothing whatsoever about any change in the agent. The exercise of efficient causality says nothing whatsoever about change in the agent. On the contrary, an efficient cause must already possess, in some equivalent way, what it will communicate to its effect. One cannot give what it does not have. Hence, if in fact a cause undergoes change on the occasion of its causal activity, as most of the causes we know in our material world do, this is not because they are causes, but because they are imperfect causes, which need to prepare for their actions and come into contact with their effect by local motion. If a cause undergoes change on the occasion of its causal activity, this is not because they are causes, but because they are imperfect causes, which need to prepare by effect in local motion. Okay. Thus, if I was to punch someone in the jaw, he's getting kind of aggressive all of a sudden, I must first move my fist through the air up through his jaw in order to actually land my punch and produce this effect. I am not yet the actual cause of knocking him down until my fist connects with his jaw directly. A cause fully in act, totally present to its effect, and not having to act through local motion, will remain perfectly motionless in its causal acts. To cause is to make another change, or to be, or come to be, not to change oneself. I think that's kind of the main argument that's being presented. So, for example, thus God's action in creating this world, as well as all of his responses to us, take place in us. Where else would we want them to take place? And imply no motion, change, or existence in time on God's part. Another important conclusion follows from this. The cause as such does not imply to lose or give away something, so as to no longer have it. It implies only to make another richer, not to become poorer oneself. Thus a teacher does not lose his knowledge when he communicates it to another, nor does the will become weaker by acting, but stronger. In our material world, however, whenever a material cause produces an effect requiring transfer of material energy, there is always in fact accompanied by an equivalent loss of energy in the cause. But this is not because it is a cause, but because it is a material cause. And in our material world, there are always positive forces of inertia, i.e. a measurable force, that react on the causal agent proportional to their own strength, to cancel out some of the motion or energy imparted by the agent by applying a counterforce to move it in the opposite direction. This results in a composition of forces, proportional to the respective energies of each, thus preserving the physical law of the conservation of energy and matter in the universe. This does not hold at all in the exercise of causality by spiritual agents, for example. So again, I think to accept some of these arguments, you would definitely need to take on a theistic, or at the very least a spiritual dualist, not necessarily dualist, but definitely believe in an immaterial aspect of the world, or rather a higher plane of existence, I suppose. Such as the human will, or maybe angelic or divine being. Thus a totally spiritual cause, like, for example, a god, acting out of an infinite plenitude or actual perfection, undergoes no loss or change when he causes by a pure act of his all-powerful will, which simply wills efficaciously that something come to be in a creature outside of him. Causal power as such is not directly observable by our external senses. Reason, since the act of causing is not another be sorry. Since the act of causing is not another being really distinct from the effect produced, but identical with it is not something really distinct from both the cause and the effect. In between the two, so to speak, which could be seen, touched, or felt by one of our senses. We don't literally see something passing from the cause of the effect. The presence of efficient causality is a given case. In a given case can only be understood and judged by the mind interpreting the whole context and recognizing that this being is responsible for the coming to be of this effect. It is a judgment of where to locate the sufficient reason for a datum of experience that reveals itself to be non-self-explanatory. This cannot be done by mere sense observation. This does not imply that what cannot be seen or touched is not in fact there, although it is beyond the reach of the scientific method, relying on quantitative measurement. 5. No effect can be greater than its cause. That is, it cannot be qualitatively superior in perfection to its efficient cause, or to the sum total of efficient causes which produces it, reason. If it were, then the surplus of higher perfection in the effect over its cause could not come from the cause, for nothing can give what it does not have, at least in some equivalent way, hence would come from nothing, if it was qualitatively superior, and have no sufficient reason for its existence. But this would be unintelligible, metaphysically impossible. Hence in this case there must be some other hidden causes at work, or cause at work. Perhaps even some that are not subject to detection by the senses, or even quantitative measurement. Thus the mere fact that a higher level of being does in fact emerge in a time sequence after a lower level, and at least in part of it, in no way implies that the latter is fully explained by the earlier. This would fall into the famous fallacy, post hoc ergo propter hoc, after this, therefore because of this. This is most important when seeking a philosophical explanation of, for example, evolution or a cosmos. Science does not, strictly speaking, have to be concerned about this, since its method of inquiry need only discover laws of regular predictability according to law, not locate the actual operating adequate efficient causes. So I was thinking as he was explaining this, I was thinking, what does this sound like? And I think this sounds like, if I had to explain this paragraph that he just stated, it is essentially the conception that the lower cannot produce the higher. At least, if you're taking some of the metaphysical points that this viewpoint creates, the lower can't produce the higher. The lower always comes from the higher. We descend in basically the great chain of being from the one or the good or what have you, or God, depending on which, Neoplatonist or Christian, or depending on which viewpoint you're looking at it from. And you constantly go down the great chain of being as things are produced, ultimately coming to pure matter, a sort of infinite possibility of indeterminacy. You can't really, it's almost nothing, not quite, but very close to being there. And of course something like evolution kind of throws a bit of a wrench in this. How does what seems to be lower level material causes effectively produce something that is so much higher in a qualitative aspect? How does inanimate material objects produce a higher qualitative mind, consciousness, morality? So I'm interested to see. I read a book before that did touch on this, and I think this is an area that is quite hard to accept. I read one that specifically argued against evolution. I was like, I don't know about that one. I think what they were arguing about was the metaphysics of evolution, but it's quite difficult. So I'd be interested to see, because this has been a very well explained book. I'm interested to see how this approaches it. How then explain the undeniable fact that often in the course of time, the higher does emerge after, and in one sense from the lower? Oh, look at that, right there. Higher from lower, lower from higher. That's exactly what the argument was. As is clearly evident in the whole process of evolution of life on our planet, with its slow, groping, but persistent movement upwards, from the inanimate to plant life, from plant to animal, and finally from animal to human, with its rational intelligence, one level following the other in time. With a fuller metaphysical analysis of the phenomenon of evolution, see the chapter. Ooh, so there's a specific chapter devoted to it. I will have to read that in time. For now, let us propose two general types of metaphysical solution, which can be applied as the data demands. Hello, Dia, welcome in, Diamandus. He's redeeming Ruadh lore. God, I haven't streamed in ages, and suddenly I have to talk about myself. Oh, no. What do I say? Well, I'm a half human. I'll just do my quick intro. Half human, half Tuatha. I'm a Fianna warrior who was born to a male human and a female Tuatha. The Tuatha being the god people of Ireland. My father was Cuilta, second of the Fianna, only to Fionn McCool himself. Cuilta was capable of great speed, being able to collect sands from each corners of Ireland before the King of Connacht had even finished speaking, asking for such a feat. And I've inherited some of his speed, and also the mythological powers of the Tuatha, of course. And I spent my first couple of years underneath the Sheed Mounds with my mother, but upon after the first couple of years of general tutoring, I left the world to go join the Fiannan band and was raised by Fians. So that's a quick little diatribe, I guess, of me. I promise I'll write more so I have more to talk about, but I'm busy. But hello Daya, how are you? How's my diamond doing? The shiny diamond, the diamond in the rough, I don't know what other diamond related things do people say? You're just resting. Oh, nice. I hope you can enjoy. I'm currently reading metaphysics, so it might be a little bit boring. I won't lie, but I hope maybe my voice can help you fall asleep or something. I'm gonna take a nice nap myself. It's only like 11:15, but I went for a walk today, and it was quite nice and sunny, and a little bit rainy, but that kind of helped cool me. But I hope you're doing okay, Daya. I hope you're doing okay. I'm gonna go back to the reading and get a good sleep. Explanation 1. It's too early for me to sleep. Oh no. Oh yeah, you'll be. You got this. You'll wake up. You'll perk up. Get some, I don't know, coffee if you like coffee, or just fight through the initial tiredness. But do rest up. 'Cause I know you're a little bit. Coffee is gross. I agree. I don't like coffee either. I don't like coffee. Everyone likes it, and I'm just like, no. But I know you were busy a little bit. You mentioning it. I do apologize as well when I joined Daya. For those of you who don't know, does a kind of weekly podcast thing. It's very cool. A lot of not podcasts, not really. It's more of like a call-in show. A lot of VTubers join, and I join sometimes when I can, because it's usually quite late for me. But I was very sleepy the last time I joined. Oh yeah, you fell asleep. I kind of did fall asleep for like a couple of seconds. I was like, I was starting to drift to sleep, and then I heard someone saying my name, like calling me, and I was like, huh? And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm on stream. But then I said goodbye because I was like, I can't stay awake anymore. I'll actually fall asleep on stream, and then I'll start snoring into the mic or something. But I think it's a really cool little weekly thing to do. You sleepy too. I was an eepy boy, very eepy, and then I had a nice sleep. I slept too well today though, because I had something to do at work, and I forgot about it, and whoops, I missed the thing. It's not too bad though, it was recorded, but still, oops, I missed it. I kick people off call if they actually fall asleep. I know, didn't... Was it Sin who fell asleep before Daya? I think it was. And you bully him ever since for being for being an eepy little baby, which I think is funny. Oh, and go follow Daya if you haven't already. Sin is eepy baby. Okay. I'm going to continue reading for a little bit. Let me see how long this chapter is. Oh, we're actually almost done this chapter. Explanation 1. While each of the newly emergent beings is higher than any one of the previously existing entity, still the whole system of the latter, taken together, contains a latent active potentiality, not yet given the chance to manifest itself, since that if enough causes combine, the system as a whole does possess the adequate power to produce the higher effect. This can probably explain much of the process of evolution, especially in the lower levels. The notion of deeply layered active potentiality is a very fertile one, and we are not sure from our limited observations just how far it can reach. But it does not seem probable that it can explain by itself the few really large qualitative leaps in the history of evolution. The three main ones are 1. The passage from the inanimate, from large molecules, to living cells, with their extremely complex ordering of many parts to a common end. Science itself has yet been able to propose an adequate scientific explanation for this crucial step upwards. The Ruadh and the Daya. Hello, Francois Villard. How are you? I like that name, Francois Villard. Sounds like a French monarch name. That might have something to do with Francois. Sounding very French, but the Ruadh and the Daya. I want to get art of my friends and me, and I want to be I want to get art of me and Daya being pals, being friends. I want to get more stuff done. What's that emote? Eating food. Is that a Pol? I just checked your account. Is that a Poland ball? I'm guessing it's French with a beret. That's very cute. A diamond. He's the brightest diamond among all of us. He's gonna. I'm sure he's going to. I'd say Model's genetic giving potential within genes might say otherwise. Or Mendel. Oh, sorry, Mendel. Yeah, Mendel. Genetics giving potential within genes might say otherwise. What's that in relation to clever? Was that into point 1? Is the French country ball? I was assuming that was a beret. Oh. I did a little bit of French, but not much that I can remember it remember it very well. And I've heard that French people do not appreciate foreigners butchering their language. So I will not pain you. Do a French accent. No, I don't want to get banned for racism. The appearance of lower going up to the higher. Je mange un burger. Je mange un burger. What does that mean? I assume it means burger. Burger. Je mange. You know, do you guys know what they... Do you guys know what they call a Big Mac? I was assuming so. I'm guessing it means I eat a burger. Burger. What they call a... Not a Big Mac, sorry, a quarter pounder with cheese. Oh, wait, well... Oh, I love that film, actually. Pulp Fiction. I haven't watched it in so long, though. I haven't watched in so long. It's such a good film. You guys know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris? Royale with cheese. Royale with cheese. Royale with cheese. Oh, like the dialogue in Quentin Tarantino movies are just incredible. Never seen it. Daya, you have to watch Pulp Fiction. Although it's a little bit bloody. I don't know if you like bloody movies. It's very bloody, actually. There's a lot of shooting, a lot of killing. There's a little bit of fucking. There's a lot of dancing. There's a lot of fighting. all I can think about now is, you like horror movies? It's not a horror movie. It's more of... It's a very weird film, but very funny and very silly. But I'd highly recommend it. It's one of the best films ever made. I'll be quite honest. It is. I'll watch it when you see Mean Girls. Have I seen Mean? No, I haven't seen Mean Girls. Okay, fine, deal. If I watch Mean Girls, you have to watch Pulp Fiction. 2. The passage from plant life to conscious sense knowledge in animals, with its intentionality and ability to interpret sense images as signs of the outside world, implying a new level of immateriality transcending merely physical and biological properties. And, above all, 3. The transition from sense-knowing in animals to rational self-conscious knowing in human beings, with its ability to transcend the whole order of spatially extended material properties by its powers of abstraction from space, time, and particular material conditions, to form abstract universal concepts, appreciate values, moral obligations, etc., that are not specifically or specifiable in any sense images or spatio-temporal terms at all of which take place in the operations of the human intellect and will. The intervention of higher-level causes on the immaterial level is needed here to supply an adequate sufficient reason. Or at least, supposedly, he argues. I think he would make a pretty strong argument that evolution, science can explain a lot of the things, but I do have issues with scientism, I suppose. I think many people don't like scientism. I think it's generally a bit of a buzzword, but it definitely applies to some viewpoints and some reasons, or some viewpoints are, and individuals. Explanation 2. At crucial points in any process of upward evolution where there is a major leap to something intrinsically higher, on a qualitative level, a higher cause or causes, not discernible by empirical observation or quantitative scientific measurement of any kind, would be needed to intervene in the process to beef up or elevate the causal power of existing agents to a new level of operations not possible before, or even to infuse a whole new supra-material power into the process, as in the case of the human spiritual soul, responsible for the higher spiritual operations of the human intellect and will. Thus, the total causality needed to adequately explain the higher effects would indeed be present in reality, but not at all indeed detectable by sensory observation or scientific method or measurement. The most powerful and deeply illuminating application of this type of hypothesis is to see God. Hello, Cameo. I know this material might be a little bit boring for a lot of people. I don't doubt that, but I hope you're eepy and you're gonna fall asleep. As the constant hidden collaborator within the whole process of evolution, thus creation would not just be a one-shot deal at the beginning of the universe, but a constant open-ended operation unfolding constantly in the world,
both supporting the active potentialities initially infused into nature and infusing new higher ones at crucial transition points along the way as needed, observable in their external effects, but not in their hidden causal origins. Raper, go rapier, go rapier. No, a stock isn't a stock very similar to a rapier in terms of like kind of aims to stab. It's great. I just woke up from a nap and now you're about to be asleep again. Nice. That's the best. I love waking up from a nap and being able to go right back to sleep. It's so cozy, so warm. Thus, God should not be looked on as some alien outside cause interfering with the process of nature, but an intrinsic though hidden factor at once transcendent and immanent in the whole vast unfolding drama of what we call nature, the power of nature, the powers of nature. All this will be further explored. 6. Causality in science. Modern science, since Galileo and Newton, has given up the search for the ontological efficient causes at work in nature, in the rich metaphysical sense outlined above, and wisely so, since that is not possible for their method, based on empirical observation and quantitative measurement expressed mathematically. It has substituted what is more easily discoverable and subject to validation by rigorous scientific methods, a regular sequence of events, such that given event A, event B can be predicated or predicted from it according to some law, whether deterministic or statistical. Thus, causality in science has become in practice predictability according to law. But since scientists are not always aware of the change in meaning of the term, from the much richer philosophical one, much confusion has arisen, perpetrated unfortunately by philosophers who should know better. When a scientist finds a solution, as in the Heisenberg indeterminacy principle as applied to the subatomic world of quantum physics, where it is impossible to predict the action of a single subatomic particle, such as a photon of light, he will say, quote, "Causality does not hold in the subatomic world." What he really means is that predictability does not hold there, in individual cases. But just because an event is unpredictable by us, it in no way follows that it has no efficient cause in the philosophical sense, i.e., no sufficient reason for its action. This might be some kind of spontaneous self-determination within the particle at the last moment, or some other hidden cause, an efficient cause but not predictable by us. No violation here of the causal principle. If you haven't yet, might I suggest the Goosebumps series or Stephen King? You're a fan. I haven't read much Stephen King, actually, to be quite honest. I have some old Demonata series books from Darren Shan. I want to see what other books I might have, but they might be interesting to read. Oh, never mind. You like this more. Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Even if it's something that might be eepy. Rape, you're doing a little bit better. I think it's probably a bit longer, so you're hitting things more easily. Hume's theory of causality. This is the theory of causality most radically opposed to the classical metaphysical one expounded above, and the keystone of empiricism ever since. Since, according to Hume, we can assert nothing of the real world save what we can observe with our senses, since all we observe is a temporal sequence between an antecedent event and a consequent event, never any actual passage of causal power between the two, we have no right to assert anything more than a mere temporal sequence between the two. No intrinsic link of productive power or dependence on one or the other. Rather, by repeated observation of a regular sequence between A and B, we form the purely mental habit of joining the two together as though they were some necessary connection between them. A purely mental projection, with no grounding in reality as we actually observe it. Thus, the whole explanatory power of efficient causality as the reason why, by its productive power, the effect exists has been evacuated, with only sheer factual sequence and predictability left. This may well be enough for scientific purposes, but not for philosophical mind seeking understanding or even for making sense out of ordinary, everyday experience, where we try to understand what happened here, who or what is responsible for what happened. Implication. Hume's interpretation of causality renders impossible any argument for the existence of cause. Hang on, I read that wrong. Hume's interpretation of causality renders impossible any argument for the existence of God as cause of any created effect. For further readings on efficient causality, see the end of the next chapter on final causality. Yeah, final causality is a bit of an even more interesting one. You listen to Star Talk, the podcast on YouTube a lot. They have an episode where they talk about dark matter and trying to contain it. I've never heard of Star Talk. I will check that out. That sounds very interesting. That sounds very cool. The next chapter deals with the intrinsic causes of being and becoming, the final cause. Final cause being the kind of aim towards which a thing is set. Very much a cause that is denied, that is rejected in modern science in the modern world. So we're getting into kind of quite thick, heavy metaphysics here, but personally I think I might finish up here. I'm a little bit tired, and I do need to be unfortunately up early tomorrow for a work thing. Ugh, we hate work things. But yeah, I'm probably gonna have to reread some of that because I was reading kind of a little bit quickly. Not too quickly, but like there's actually some parts I would like to reread and kind of be like, do I agree with its interpretations or whatever. But I might. Let me see if there's anyone. There's no one doing ASMR, so what I think I might do is I might just end the stream. I think I'm gonna be doing maybe some kind of karaoke soon. Sometime during this week, in the next coming days, or maybe on the weekend. And we'll just sing some random stuff and have a little bit of fun. But it's nice to see you all again. It was nice to talk a little bit. My voice is already a little bit sore, so I might have to get used to talking for ages again. But thank you all for joining. I hope to be able to stream a good bit more at the very least. Garev Mila Magat and Slán Gafoil, and I will talk to you guys later. I'm gonna go have a cup of tea and then maybe go to sleep. But bye guys. Bye.